Today, 3 industries produced millionaire employees. Obviously, finance, hedge fund managers, private equity guys, venture capitalists, they make a lot of money because they manage a lot of money. That's it. Tech. Here, it's mostly in the US. People often get wealthy through stock option, so you need to pick the right company and ride it all the way. And the third one is the industry that I'm in. Commodity trading. In short, commodity trading is all about purchasing, selling, shipping, storing, and processing commodities, matching suppliers and buyers while carrying the risk of the transaction. And it's funny because commodity trading is all about taking risk. But this path is probably the safest and the surest way to become a millionaire. And this path is quite simple. You just need to get hired at the head office of a top commodity trading firm. Then you just do good work and you stay there. The trick is really to stay there. Even if it's awful to work there, you hate your coworkers, you think this is the worst decision that you've ever made, the trick is really to stay there. Because over time, with seniority, you will slowly get company shares. And at that point, the money will flow to you in a way that you couldn't even imagine. You don't believe me? Check this out. Here is a summary table of Trafigura and Vitol net profit over 5 years. And Trafigura and Vitol are the two top firms. Roughly, Trafigura made over those 5 years 20 billion in profit and Vitol 40 billion. And the insanity doesn't stop there. Trafigura employee with share is approximately 1,400 people and Vitol is roughly 450 employees. So if you just take Vitol numbers, right, they made over those 5 years 40 billion in profit. And if you divide that by the 450 employees that own the company, it's roughly 80 billion per guy. 80 billion. This is crazy, man. So obviously, I'm not completely dumb. This is not how it works in real life, but it's just to show you how a small number of people could share an immensely large amount of money. It's crazy. So yeah, this is basically it. You have the path to become a millionaire. So anyway, this is a short introduction just to show you the amount of money that some people could make in this industry. And if you are new to this channel, basically my name is Damien. I'm the owner of a few commodity businesses, and yeah, I do not work for those big companies, but I have a bunch of friends that do work there, and I can tell you, man. They are making way more money than me. Anyway, that was a long introduction, but my idea for this video will be just to tell you how did I break into the industry, and yeah, how did I do that? So let's dive in. So basically, I think to start this story where it should, I think we need to go back like when I was 8 or 9 years old, because I've always wanted to make money. I don't know why, because honestly, I don't have any like childhood trauma about lack of money in my family or some stuff like that you know, other YouTubers would say. I've always wanted to make money, and I think the reason is like, it's just for girls, because very early in my in my life, I understood that basically if you have money, I mean, you can get status, and with status you can get girls. And I even have the proof of that. Look what I have. I keep this. All right, I'm a bit embarrassed to show it to you guys, but this is crazy. So I found that when my parent moved like a few years ago, and I just framed it because it's it's so funny. So this is basically a drawing that I made when I was, I think, 8 or 9 years old. I will translate what I wrote, but man, it shows how broken I was from day one. Basically here, this little guy said, oh, I'm more handsome than that guy. I'm cleverer than that guy. I'm stronger than that guy, but I have less money. And then you can see that this guy has a lot of girls that are following him. So I don't know why I made this little drawing or these little things when I was a kid. So basically, this thing that I wanted to make a lot of money, like, really stayed with me when I was a kid. And then I saw back then, you know, I'm from Switzerland, so Switzerland is well known for their banks. So I saw that I wanted to be like a trader in a bank. So that was my big idea when I was in high school, and then in higher education. I wanted to be like a trader, you know, on the future market and so on. So I think I must have read like hundreds of books about trading. You know, back then there was no YouTube or stuff like that. And it's you had to buy books, and I did a bunch of forex trading also. Forex trading, for the people that don't know, it was before meme coin and crypto coins. That was basically the same idea. To use leverage, and then there's like some platform that will scam all of your money. But yeah, I did a bunch of forex trading. I think I was not that bad actually. I blew up like only a couple of accounts, and then I made my money back. But then it was like forex trading is gambling, honestly. So don't do that. So that's basically what I did. Even though I read like 100 books about all the strategy and everything, I think all the money that I made when I was a kid was just to buy those books about finance, stocks, and all of that. I remember when we went on vacation with my parents, I was on the beach with my finance book and with the highlighters, and my parents are like, what the f-? It's like, we're on the beach, go play. Don't read forex trading books. Anyway, then what happened is like in 2008, there was a great financial crisis, and a lot of banks just got completely destroyed. And in Switzerland, it happens that it was the same. All the big banks, UBS, Credit Suisse. I will put the stock chart at that time, but you can see like it went to and it never recovered. So basically, there were a lot of thing in the news that all the traders in those banks was basically getting fired. That there were new regulation in place that banks cannot trade now with their own money and so on. So I was like, man, it's like. That was my goal, and now like I read everywhere that this is over. $1 million bonuses for traders in banks. All of that is over. This is a new era, and so I was like, I need to find something else to do. And also something that I did not understand back then is like most of the Swiss banking industry is about wealth management. And before the US destroyed the Swiss secrecy laws, the wealth manager was making a lot of money with the client because the wealth manager had a lot of leverage over the client. Because the wealth manager knew that this money was illegitimate. I mean, it was not illegitimate, it was not declared in the country that the money was from. So basically, the wealth manager always had like this unconscious leverage over the clients. Like, man, if you do not play nice to me, I can destroy your life, man. And basically, when the bank secrecy was lifted, a lot of compliance arrived in all the banks and so on, and just the leverage of the wealth manager over the client disappeared. So this is why now, if you go to a Swiss bank or any private bank, even the wealth manager are not paid like, I think they are paid maybe a tenth of what they used to be paid. So even the wealth management industry, I mean, it's going to be tough to be a millionaire as an employee in this industry. It was completely possible 20 years ago, 30 years ago, before when the bank secrecy was still there, but now it's all. Anyway, so I go back to my story. So I was like, man, what am I going to do? I have no idea. And this is basically when my parents said, look, Damien, maybe you should look into this commodity trading. I mean, we know a guy and he has a Ferrari. So, so this is okay. So this also shows the level of financial literacy that my parents. They're like, oh, speak with him. He has a Ferrari. So, or okay. I spoke with the guy, very nice guy, and basically that guy was a commodity trader, but he was an oil trader. So he said, yeah, man, this is how the industry works. This is what we do. He was very nice. He explained to me like how everything worked. I was a kid back then. I don't know how old I was, but maybe 18 or something like this. I don't know. I was like, yeah, man, okay, I'm sold. I want to be a commodity trader. This is it. So you need to travel, you need to be good with people and so on. I think I'm kind of hard. So yeah, let's do it. Then that was my new plan, becoming a commodity trader. My idea was to get like a summer internship. Because I was at university back then, and I really wanted to get like a summer internship to get something on my CV, And I remember this first summer, I sent 100 letters with my CV and with a letter, like motivation letters. Even though there were no openings or nothing, I just said, look, I'm not going to send an email. Let's do something different. I'm going to write a letter with my CV and ask for a summer internship. So I sent 100 letters, 0 response. 0, all negative. And I think I sent like 50 or 70 because I couldn't find like enough commodity trading company. I also sent letters to shipping company, to freight forwarder, to anybody that has something to do with a commodity trading, like even inspection company. I sent to all of them. I think I sent like 50, and then as I saw like no response from all of them, I sent another 50 to the same people. Like, maybe you missed my first letters, blah, blah, blah. I did that, 0 response. All right. Okay, so that summer passed, and I was like, all right, now I need to really find a solution because there's a next summer coming, and I need to find a way to get a summer internship, So this is when like sick brain said, you know what? I think the method of sending a CV and a motivation letter is a good idea. I just didn't do enough. So So basically, I think for this summer, I sent like 300 letters or something like this. But to the same people again. So like 3 or 4 times, like every 2 weeks, I sent another letter. So and then I got a bunch of replies. Basically, all the replies say, "Stop sending your CV, man. We don't want you." So yeah, I don't know. I'm laughing because how stupid was I? I just did the same thing but more. But by doing all of that, I got lucky. One day, I got a call from a guy that worked at Total. Now the name of the company is Total Energies. It's a big French oil producer. Back then, the name of the company was Total Totsa Energy or something like this. I don't remember. Anyway, so the guy called me and said, "Look, usually we don't take a summer internship. The only young people that we take are kids of our employees. But turned out that there is a girl that should start for 1 month a summer internship, but she I don't know, she missed her exam and now she cannot come because she had basically to redo her exam during the summer. So do you want the job?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." I've been sending like letters, like, all right, so that's in 2 weeks you start. So yeah, and this is basically how I got started with a summer internship. And my internship at Total was complete garbage. I had to do like the most boring stuff ever. I was in charge of handling the archive. So my job was to take a stack of paper, put it, file it, and bring it down to the archive. So I spent the whole summer in the archive, lower ground, 4, and filing papers. Man, I remember my hand was bloody, because I had so many paper cuts by doing it. But seriously, man, I did my best. And they all told me, "We never seen someone so dedicated to this archiving thing." So every summer they had kids, but they said they never seen someone that was as fast and that was as serious as doing that. So I think in 2-3 weeks I did the job that actually required a few months to do. So they were quite happy with me. And basically I asked, "Man, is there anything else that I can do?" And so this is when I started to help the operation team. The operation team was the people in charge of moving the vessel, the tankers. And at the operation team, Total is huge. I remember there were maybe, 50 operators or something like this. And they had 2 people there. They were in charge of documents. That was the title, I think, document operations or something like this. And basically, it was a very, very boring job for them. They had to do what? I think issue insurance, making sure all the documents are there for the operators, stamping and the BL, also signing the BL. A bunch of very, very. But for me, it was. I was on heaven. And I remember, I did their job 22 times faster than them, just because for them it was so boring. They didn't do. They're spending their time smoking, drinking coffee, going to have a little breakfast or something like this. So anyway, I worked there for the last week or so. So, and what happened is at the end of the summer, I asked the big boss at the big operator manager. She was she was a horrible person. Seriously, she was a horrible person. And but everyone was afraid of her because she was so horrible. So basically, I just asked her, "Can I stay there? You still need help with this, obviously. Even though my new university start again, I can work part-time, so would it be possible?" And she said, "Yeah, I don't know, I need to find a budget, blah, blah, blah." So then I found the first guy that hired me. I asked, "Look, she asked if she doesn't have a budget, but I know that you do have the budget, you told me, so can you pay for me so I can help her?" And the guy said, "All right, you can do it, no problem." So, and this is basically how I negotiate a part-time job at Total after my summer internship. And one funny story about Total. So when I was in the archive, I went and looked for the file of the Erika. So the Erika was a big spill that happened with one of Total vessel on the French shore, and I wanted to see the archive because it was a huge thing on the news. They had to pay millions and so on. You can imagine when you spill oil on the beach, it's not nice. And I went to see the archive of that file. And when I went to see where the vessel should be, the thing should be in the archive, there was a big hole in the in the archive. They just took this file and I think they archive it somewhere else. But I was like, all right, I won't see what happened with that story. But anyway, that one funny story. And one other thing, yeah. So basically, then to carry on, I got a half part-time job at Total during the last year of my university, and then for me that was cool. that was cool. So I could learn a little bit more about what was going on. But then people didn't really give me about explaining to me what they were doing and so on. So I always had to ask, hey, what do you do, blah blah blah. And they are French, so they are not nice, True story. But now Total, it has changed. All right, I have a lot of kids from the Shipping Community Academy that works for Total. Total is a great employer for juniors. No problem. But back then, it was completely different. And basically, I don't know what Total, they had like something that they would take a bunch of bright kids from France and ship them to Geneva to work on doing like task on the desk. So it was funny because all those kids, they really thought that they were the most clever, the most important guys and so on, because they are from this very posh business school in France, blah blah blah. And all in those business schools, they keep everyone keep telling them that they are the elite of the nation, or like this. And then they are shipped to Geneva, Switzerland, where they need to do like brainless task. So that, anyways, what was the point of my story? I don't remember. Anyway, so. Thing is, at the end of my university, I asked the HR if they have a job for me full time, and then they say yes, you can become an operator on the desk, blah blah blah, no problem. Everyone likes you, it's cool. But the thing, working there was horrible. Not for me, because I was there part time, but for all the other people, they did not like it because the atmosphere was so bad, so bad. Man, I've never seen. At least once a month, I could see someone crying on the desk, like crying. And this is awful when someone cries on an open floor. There's like 50 other people, and nobody is like saying, everyone's quiet. You can only hear like typing, and then people next to the guy or the girl crying, they are like, oh, but it's only a job, don't take it too seriously. The atmosphere back then was horrible. So obviously I said yes to the job, but I tried to find another job because I don't want to be one of those guys. One other thing that happened a lot back then. So the head of trading, there's like head of trading, but there's head of desk. So let's say one guy is head of desk of LPG, one other guy is head of desk of crude, and there's one guy in Geneva, another guy in Houston, another guy whatever, and there's a big head of trading. And then all the head of desk would say to their operators, man, I really like you. Next time there's an opening on the trading desk, you are the next trader. But then you learn that the guy, they said that to like 5-6 different guys. So obviously when there's an opening, so only one guy gets the job and the other one is like, what the told me that I was the one. It's like, yeah, but your time is not now, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. But obviously, people will get crazy, man, if you keep lying to them like this. Yeah, so I secured my job at Total, but I was like, yeah, I need to find another one. And this is at that moment that I applied for Koch fertilizer. So Koch industry, the Koch brother, I think they're one of the most wealthy guys in the US, very well known. But at the time, I didn't know who they were. But there were this trading desk, Koch fertilizer in Geneva, Switzerland. They were looking for an operator, junior operator. I was like, all right, perfect. And I remember I was with a recruiter on the phone, and she was like, yeah, they are not looking for someone that is completely green. They want someone that understands the basis. So do you understand the basis? What have you done in Total? I was like, yeah, I was in charge of document. And I think I punchlines. They said, yeah, I was in charge of this, and that. And they were, all right, you are not green, so we don't start from scratch. So let's do it. So I'll send you to the round for interviews. So I was like, yes. Let's go. And one funny thing, the recruiter told me like on the phone, and you'll be sitting next to the grandson of the Koch family. I didn't know who was the Koch family. I was like, yeah, sure. But it's a very wealthy family in the US. And I remember I was like, yeah, so why? Why are you telling me that? But I was like, man, I'm not going to ask him for money or whatever. It's like, yeah, no problem. But now I understand what she meant. She meant that the Koch brother, a lot of people, I don't know, in the US, they don't like them because they are right or whatever. And I think this is what she meant. Like, are you comfortable like working next to someone of the Koch family? But I had no clue who there was. So I was like, man, I'm not going to ask him for money. But it's like, maybe at lunchtime, if I don't have my wallet or whatever, I will ask him to pay, but I will pay him back. And she asked it like 2 times. Are you sure there's no problem? Because you really will be on the same desk with him. And I think he is a little bit younger than I, if I remember. So obviously we would have been the 2 only young people. So anyway, so but man, it was so funny. I was on the phone like, but why keeps she saying that I've been next to him? Like, cool, man, no problem. It's like, is he? I don't know. When you are a billionaire son, or you don't to the toilet, or you are so different? Are you a lizard? I don't. Anyway, so all right, got the interview, and the interview was the most brutal I've ever done. So I remember it was 5 hours of interview, and the way they do that is like they have like round. Basically, you are getting interviewed by people that you will work with. So, and each time it's 2 other people. Ding, ding, ding. So basically, you see 10 people that would be your future co-workers, and then they ask questions. Da, 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 da. And the problem is that honestly, I knew nothing about the industry. I knew nothing. The that I did at Total, it was like brainless. I was not really sure about the Incoterm, even though I tried to learn them and so on. I was not sure about anything. And my English was really bad back then. So all the interview was in English, so I was like really afraid. And I was so stressed basically that I was a complete fraud. So I remember I arrived at the meeting like 1 hour before it started, because it was like next to the airport, very far. So I wanted to make sure to be on time. And I arrived, I put my little suit and so on. And when I was in front of the door, I almost had like a complete panic attack. It was bad, man. I was almost crying and so on. I was so bad. I almost thought that I was going to run away, and just because I couldn't handle it, man. This is to show you how weak I was. Anyway, so finally, I put myself together, get in, and I had those 5 hours of interview. And retrospectively, it was like extremely brutal, like 5 hours of interview. And there were like one vetting manager. Yeah, the guy that needs to vet all the vessels that they are going to charter. He was Indian, and he had like a huge accent, and I couldn't understand like half of what he said. And he was so brutal. Yeah. So I was like, after like 2-3 rounds, I was like, all right, it's dead. And then it was a little bit more relaxed, and the last one went better. I remember now. But this Indian dude, he killed me. Like it was a former captain of a big tankers, and so I remember that guy very well. So I got 5 rounds of interview, and basically I did not know enough. They wanted to add someone that knew more. And you know what? I think this is also one of the reasons that I built the Shipping and Commodity Academy, because I'm sure that I would have went through the full curriculum that we have on the Shipping and Commodity Academy. I would have aced this interview, because this is all the bases that you need to know. And the problem is like I totally didn't learn that. But now, if I would have gone to the Shipping and Commodity Academy course, I would have aced this 5-hour interview. Maybe I would be like the best buddy with like one of the Koch grandson. I would have been at Mar-a-Lago for a Trump speech. I mean, maybe it would have been a completely different life, Yeah, the best buddy was like a billionaire Koch guy. I don't know. Anyway, so first interview, Koch. That was tough. Then I had another interview in one of Finnish company. I think it's Nest Oil. I had an interview with a manager there. Yeah, didn't work. Again, because I was marketing myself as I was like, I kind of knew the operation and shit, but I knew nothing. And finally, I got hired at a very small firm that was called Getty Trade, and this is basically where I stayed like for 8-9 years, and I transitioned that company to operator to trader, and this is what basically launched my career. And so this is the complete story how I would have been best buddy with like a grandson billionaire, but it did not happen, and how I got into the game. And some takeaway from that story, I think the way I found this first summer internship at Total is like I did what nobody else would have done. Sending those 300 letters, 400 letters, like a madman. Actually, it seems completely dumb, but it shows that when you do action, then down the line, you get lucky because you did something. I'm pretty sure that if I would have only sent like one email or something like this, I wouldn't have got like really far. It's just that the dude remember these crazy kids that keep sending letters like every other weeks, and was like, all right, I have something for him, so let's call him. So I think you need to do some action. You need to do stuff to get lucky. What I want to say is like you need to do stuff that other people want if you want better outcome than most of the people. And then when I was at Total, I really broke my ass off to be the best guy that handled the archive. I really did my best, like every day. It was so boring, but I really did my best. And this is how I could create this new job, like operator, assistant, document, whatever, for me the next year, because I really did my best. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for the story. I hope that you like this type of video with less edit, and basically I share stories. So if you want more stories like this, just let me know in the comment. And yeah, man, so see you next week.